Welcome, my dear friends, to the lesson in which we will discuss querying a feature layer using SQL in ArcGIS Maps SDK, the power of GIS in dynamic data filtering. Imagine working as a city planner responsible for managing urban development. Your job involves identifying areas for potential residential projects or assessing parcels with high land values for taxation purposes. Traditionally, such tasks required static maps and manual filtering. Today, however, we have GIS technology that allows us to dynamically query large data sets and instantly visualize the results. This is not just a technical improvement, it's a revolution in decision-making efficiency. In this lecture, we'll explore how to harness the ArcGIS Maps SDK to build an interactive map application that dynamically filters data using SQL queries. This powerful tool enables us to query a feature layer, visualize geographic features, and provide insightful information to users in real time. Whether you're in urban planning, environmental analysis, or resource management, these skills are indispensable. Learning objectives. By the end of this lecture, you will understand the purpose and functionality of an API key and feature layer in ArcGIS. 2. Apply SQL queries to dynamically filter and retrieve data from GIS datasets. 3. Analyze and visualize query results using customized symbols and pop-ups. 4. Develop a fully interactive map application with drop-down-based SQL query filtering. Educational plan. Step 1. Conceptual overview. Definitions, API key, feature layer, SQL query, and their roles in GIS. Explanation of the ArcGIS Maps SDK. Step 2. Step-by-step coding. Incrementally build the HTML structure, JavaScript logic, and map functionalities. Step 3. Explanation of key concepts. Why we load scripts in the body instead of the head. Detailed breakdown of query logic and visualization. Step 4. Testing and practice. Run and interact with the application. Step 5. Recap and next steps. Review the concepts and preview spatial queries for the next session. Conceptual overview. What is an API key? An API key is a unique identifier that authenticates your access to ArcGIS services such as base map and feature layers. It ensures secure and controlled usage of the services. What is a feature layer? A feature layer is a collection of geographic data stored in ArcGIS, such as points, lines, or polygons. Each feature in the layer has attributes, example parcel ID, land use type, and geometry. Example, a polygon for a parcel. What is an SQL query? SQL, Structured Query Language, is a tool for filtering and retrieving data from a dataset. For example, use type is equal residential, retrieves parcels classified as residential. Role, land value greater than 100,000. Retrieves parcels with land values greater than $1 million. Step-by-step implementation. We will now build the application step by step. Each code snippet is explained in detail for clarity. Step 1. Create the basic HTML structure. Open Visual Studio and create file with name querying feature layer using sql.html. Then start with a simple HTML structure to host the map and the drop-down menu. Explanation. 1. Div ed is equal view div. This is the container for the map. 2. Drop-down menu. The select element allows users to choose SQL conditions dynamically. Script placement. JavaScript is loaded at the bottom body. This ensures all DOM elements are loaded before the script executes. Step 2. Set up API key and map. In the previous lectures, we were writing the code in the HTML page, but we will develop our work by separating the HTML code from the JavaScript code, meaning that we will allocate a JavaScript file in which we put the JavaScript code, then we will put the HTML page to read this file. How is that? It's simple. Follow along with me. Meaning that we will have two files, a file with an HTML extension for the HTML code, and another file with a JS extension for the JavaScript code. To organize the work, we will create a folder called Query and Feature Layer using SQL, in which we will put the two files for the sake of organization, because from the beginning until the lecture, we will take this into account in every new lesson. So we will move the file called Querying Feature Layer using SQL.html into this folder, and from within the folder, create a JavaScript file named Querying Feature Layer using SQL.js, and start by setting up the API key, map, and view. Explanation. Let's make it read the JavaScript file as well by writing a simple code in the body section after writing the code at the end of the body here. API key. This authenticates access to ArcGIS services like base maps. Replace the placeholder with your actual key. Map defines the map and sets its base map to ArcGIS topographic. Map view configures the map's display, including its container, center, and zoom level. Step 3. Add a feature layer. Now, add a feature layer that contains the GIS data we want to query. Explanation. Feature layer URL points to a dataset of parcels in Los Angeles County. Adding the layer integrates the data into the map for querying and visualization. Step 4. Add drop-down functionality. Next, connect the drop-down menu to execute SQL queries when a selection is made. Explanation. Drop-down menu. Listener. The change event is triggered whenever the user selects a new option. SQL query. The where clause filters the dataset based on the selected condition. Query features. Executes the query on the feature layer and fetches the results. Step 5. Display query results. Finally, visualize the queried data on the map. Explanation. Symbol styling. Sets the color, transparency, and border for the visualized features. Clear previous graphics. Removes all results before adding new ones. Iterate and display. Loops through the query results, applies the symbol, and displays them on the map. We have finished writing the necessary code in this lecture. Now we want to see the result of our work. Will the map appear and will the query be correct from the drop-down list to see that? So let's run the page by right. Clicking the mouse button and then choosing Open with Live Server. Oh my, the map has appeared. Let's now do the inquiry process. Oh my, our knowledge is wonderful and the result is in front of you. Conclusion. In this session you learn. Created a map application using the ArcGIS Maps SDK. Dynamically queried GIS data using SQL and visualized the results. Integrated a drop-down menu for user-driven filtering. Next lecture. In the next session, we'll explore spatial queries, which involve filtering features based on geographic relationships. We learn how users sketched area for parcel analysis. Objective: identify parcels that fall within a user-defined geographic area using a sketch tool on the map. Example, use case. A city planner wants to evaluate all parcels within a proposed development boundary. An environmental scientist wants to identify areas within a specific buffer zone to assess environmental impacts. This will enable even more powerful GIS applications. Stay tuned. We will meet you in the next lecture to develop our skills more. Goodbye.